Gogoltech's newest endeavor is a chip implanted into couples' brains to merge their thoughts.
Hazel and I are users one. Our minds will be one. Technology has improved the way we live. Why not improve the way we love? Together, we will become a singular living God.
I want it out, and I want a divorce. What happened in there?
It's a lot to explain.
Planes, shotguns, acting like you're running for your life.
Hazel!
Have you ever thought of just lowering your standards in terms of general happiness?
He's watching us right now for a chip that he implanted in my brain.
I've been working on this my whole life.
I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want you.
Aloha. It's Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best TV show reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man. And today I am bringing you a review, a television show review of the HBO Max show Made for Love. Now, this dropped in April, and it was a weekly release. And this last Friday, just yesterday, was the final episode. And, well, remember our rating scale. Shock a thumbs up. It's good to see. I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down. It's bad to see. It's junk. I don't recommend it. And, well, for the 6-episode HBO Max TV show, Made for Love, it is overall, I'm going to give it a shock a thumbs down. Now, I went into this show without too much knowledge about it. I had seen a bit of the preview and heard that it was coming to HBO Max, something to do with technology, kind of sort of the near future, and something to do with, as the title implies, made for love, with love and some type of relationship. And I think from the previews that you've seen in this trailer that I just showed you a few moments ago, basically it has to do with some type of chip inserted into this woman. I wasn't sure if, with the title Made for Love, if it was an android replicant of some type, a female robot made for love, basically, a sex doll kind of scenario, kind of a thing that maybe with this chip, gets full emotions and becomes more human-like. That could be nothing further from the truth of this show. And as far as technology goes, or advanced future science, it is only slightly more advanced than where we are now. I'd say, probably another, 10 to 30 years from now is where I would probably place this type of show, where it deals with, a tech giant recluse named Byron. Think a combination of Howard Hughes, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, etc., all rolled into one geeky, socially awkward man-child. Basically a tech genius, of course, who forms a corporation very much like a Google, but called Gogol. And basically, during an opportunity for a lecture at a college campus, he comes across our main heroine named Hazel Green, and immediately is enchanted with her and falls in love. Asks her out on a date, a very awkward kind of date, where it is set inside a cube. He only travels in these cubes of virtual reality. Basically, it's basically a storage container box with, screens all over, so that once you're in there, you can, anything can be projected onto the screen, and you can thus be anywhere in the world. And instead of a normal date and a normal dinner, he takes her into this cube and, basically gives her the time of her life, a wonderful dinner, travels around the world to Egypt, Paris, etc., without actually going anywhere. And, not even at the end of the date, he asks her to marry him. And, Hazel is from a broken family. Her mother has died a long time ago, back when she was maybe 10 years old. Her father, an alcoholic, who basically has neglected her, and basically she gets by on her wiles, doing some stealing here and there, light crime, basically a con artist. And he finds her at the college campus, basically swindling people for money, based on fake raffle tickets to win a new, essentially, Google phone, the new Google Phone 5, kind of like an iPhone 5 or something, for anyone who purchases a raffle ticket after this guy's lecture, because she's in front of a poster of his lecture upcoming that evening. However, there is no giveaway. The phone isn't even built, but he likes her chutzpah, and she is very, very pretty. And so he asks her out on this date, fascinated by her. He asks her to marry him immediately, and she says yes. Having described you her life, or lack of lifestyle options at the time, and struggling for money, and again, a broken home, she jumps at the opportunity, believing that fame and riches will, basically come her way out of this, being married to a tech giant. You can go anywhere, do anything, etc. The sky's the limit. However, advance 10 years after their marriage, and we find her trapped inside a cube at his house. Think Mark Zuckerberg over on, where is that, Kauai, where he's built up that beach property. If his wife was just a prisoner there, unable to leave. Sure, she's trapped in paradise, but she is still trapped a prisoner. Basically, she can never leave, she cannot go anywhere, she cannot do anything. Thus, is the scope of our story. And to find more of an interest in this, in the joy of trying to get to the truth, this Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk kind of character decides to build this chip and insert it into her brain, calling it the Made for Love program. Basically, a couple, married couples, boyfriends, girlfriends, would have this chip, a chip installed in their brains for each other, and basically be able to read one another's thoughts, basically becoming of one mind. Thus, you can never be lied to. You will always know the truth of what your partner is thinking, And he, of course, thinks that this is a wonderful thing, as Hazel has basically been more than accommodating during these 10 years of marriage. But that's only on the surface. And he wants to get to the truth. And he soon realizes, once he implants this chip against her will and without her knowledge, that during these 10 years, she's been lying to him about being happy and ecstatic living as a prisoner in this virtual reality building called the Cube, where he pretty much resides all the time other than work. And we find out that she's never been able to leave during those 10 years, meet anyone other than work-related that comes to visit him. So this has all the making of a very dark, traumatic, serious drama, but it's told as kind of a dark comedy. I think, what hit me the most, especially with the music during this show, was that how much it reminded me of like a late 60s kind of science fiction, early 70s kind of utopian society. However, we soon discover that not all is as positive as we would think in this utopian society. And again, she is unhappy. She is a prisoner, basically trapped for these past 10 years, and she's finally able to escape, returning to her father, her life. Unfortunately, it is the same life that she had escaped from before, and finds herself now trapped in that life, but also with her husband being able to read her thoughts, view everything of the world throughout her eyes, and hear every conversation. Basically, he uses this knowledge to try to get her back. She goes to divorce lawyers, and instantly they're broke, their bank accounts drained, the power in their buildings, their homes goes off, because that's how powerful this tech giant is. He can just influence anyone in that manner of threatening them. Plus she's said that, the government had tried to stop maybe a monopoly of Google, but he had defeated the government and this antitrust, anti-monopoly suit that was against him. So he seems unstoppable. And so that is where these 6 episodes kind of go through. There are some funny parts in it. The escape. You get to the 3rd episode where you find out what exactly is going on and what the stakes are. It could turn a little darker in season 2, perhaps, as he tries to bring her back, and apparently seems to succeed. It's unknown if they'll do a season 2. That has not yet been announced. But overall, I have to say that as much as the music and the undertones place it as kind of a Hitchhiker's Guide-like dark comedy look at the future, it fails in the writing to really gain ground in that direction. The idea of use of technology, the dependence on technology, virtual reality, etc., is interesting. However, I think that Amazon Prime's television show Uploaded is a much better show that kind of talks about the same issues and same themes, but goes a little bit more into the heart of the characters and, understanding their motives and desires. Whereas this Made for Love is still a little murky at times, and ultimately hard to get behind either Hazel or Byron and their motives. And in the end, you kind of feel that, maybe they are made for one another. Hazel does seem to be able to kind of skirt ethics around, very much like Byron, and maybe that's why the two were attracted to one another, in addition to money and power, and pure sex appeal, perhaps. But once they spent time with one another, they were able to see how similar they were, and even coming back, Hazel kind of has a little bit of an equal hand in returning to the cube, or choosing to come back to the cube under not false pretenses, but kind of pushed into it by Byron saying that he would help her father with a serious illness that he has in getting help and possible cure. Outside of that, there's really very little to root for in this show. Again, there are some funny comedy bits, statements on society and technology, and maybe even a little bit on relationships and equality in relationships, and deciding who has the power in relationships, and what one can do to want to maybe find a better balance so that it's not all one-sided, and thus what tends to happen in people leading towards divorce, perhaps, and very much so as we see struggles in Made for Love, kind of along those same lines. Now, of course, this is taken to the far extreme, for a dark comedy. But again, it is a shock and thumbs down. I just feel that they could have went and pushed the envelope that much more. Perhaps in season 2, they'll do so. So yeah, I'm putting up the cast right over here. I really hadn't seen any of these people before, of course, besides the father, the comedian who plays the father here for Hazel. Yet all of these other actors are unknown. They do a well enough job. I just feel that the story could have been a little tighter, a little bit more avant-garde, I think, pushing into the darker respects, or at least lean more into the comedy aspects, such as Upload does on Amazon. So I would say that is the better show to watch, a very similar show to this. But again, my main reasons are that the story kind of flounders for a little bit until it finds its footing. And then even then, the tale that it tells, it doesn't really seem to go anywhere as it kind of comes full circle. Perhaps season 2, if it does get greenlit, will address these issues and thus, fill in much more of the story. But as it stands right now, I can't really recommend Made for Love. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, saying mahalo and aloha.